it's been a long time that we've been waiting for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Marvel's OG series is finally back for one last mission, and the team heads back in time to save the world one last time, and they've even brought an old friend back to life for the ride. So just a quick spoiler warning, of course this video does contain major spoilers for the season premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, then go ahead and check it out, and then come back to the video so you can hear my thoughts on it and theories and everything like that. So, yeah, you've been warned. I assume you've seen the episode now, if you're still watching. So, let's get into this. So, we already knew that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be headed into the past for its final season, but now we know exactly what the board looks like for the team's last mission. Simmons has been prepping this for a while and takes the team back to New York City in 1931 in pursuit of the Chronicoms, which now have their sights set on Earth. They don't know why the Chronicoms are there, but they've been studying Earth and know every details of the timeline, so they can make surgical strikes, or pull the thread, as they keep on saying throughout the episode, in just the right places in the timeline to effectively erase S.H.I.E.L.D. from the history books. And if there's no S.H.I.E.L.D., they presume there are no heroes to stop them further down the line. But clearly they've never heard of the Avengers. But diving into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s history means they're going to need an expert with knowledge and skill set to spot the clues everyone else might miss. So, say hello to LMD Coulson. And, I mean, it's kind of funny how many times Coulson has been resurrected at this point, and it took this long to actually make him an LMD, but they did it, and now he's back, with a few Chronicom tech updates to boot, and Coulson is understandably disoriented and a bit pissed about it all, because he's an LMD now, and he's part Chronicom, the villain that they're trying to fight this whole time. But once he knows the stakes, he realizes that he has to help because it's for the greater good. So Agent Coulson falls in line under Director Mack and uses his keen S.H.I.E.L.D. history to lead them to a speakeasy base run by Patton Oswalt's Koenig. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I already forgot. I just watched the episode and I already forgot how to pronounce it. But I know it's like Koenig. I'm just going to butcher that name throughout this whole video, so sorry about that. But anyway, this is actually his great-grandfather, probably, because we've seen this character in previous seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., played by Patton Oswalt, but this is taking place in the 1930s, so obviously has to be an ancestor of the version we saw before. But as for the Chronicoms in this episode, they're stealing the faces of New York City cops to try and yank at that mysterious thread, which the team assumes is to assassinate FDR, aka Franklin D. Roosevelt, before he's elected president while he's still governor, and we'll also found the SSR, which eventually turns into S.H.I.E.L.D. But nope, because the target is actually a relative nobody working at Koenig's club, and his name is Freddie Malik, eventual father of Hydra leader Gideon Malik. So, diving into our own MCU history, fans are likely aware of that Winter Soldier twist that found Hydra was deeply entwined in the origins of S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll take one out and they're both gone. So, the team's first mission is to make sure Hydra remains intact. And as Coulson says, in order to save S.H.I.E.L.D., we have to save Hydra. So this really seems full circle, too. I mean, considering just how many seasons they spent trying to stop Hydra, and now they're trying to work with Hydra. I mean, it seems the Chronicoms are the ones who really know how to cut off the right head. Like, as for saving Freddy, though, that was a nice twist, and I really like that. And it seems to reason... it seems like we'll be visiting a few different time periods this season, and it stands to reason this fake-out approach could stick around. I mean, because the Chronicoms aren't really looking at the obvious timeline tweaks. They know the little changes that they can have that will cause the biggest consequences. But before I get into the end of the episode, I'm going to go off on some, assorted smaller storylines and, things that happen in the episode. So Fitz, nowhere to be seen in this episode. after being separated from Simmons at the end of last season by the Chronicoms. And he was sorely missed, and hopefully he'll be reunited with Simmons and the rest of the team soon. I mean, we know Fitzsimmons will be back together. I mean, they've been through a lot over the length of the series. And if they don't get a happy ending once it's all over, the only answer is we gotta riot, because they need a happy ending. Although I think it's pretty obvious that they will get a happy ending, because this is the series finale, so you can't just give them an ending with them apart. Like, that would just be wrong. But as for a character that was actually in this episode, Yo-Yo, she gets an upgrade thanks to Simmons' tech upgrades, and now she's sporting a new pair of arms that actually look like human arms, and they apparently return the sense of touch back to her. So after spending the past season sporting a pair of robotic arms, this is a game changer for her. But this makes sense, though, especially if they're time traveling. I mean, robo arms kind of stand out a bit when you're strolling around 90 years in the past. And I really love that moment after she put on the arms and then she just felt her face, because it's been so long since she's actually felt something with her fingertips. And I just really love that moment, because you could see how emotional that was for her. And it's a big moment for the character. Also, seeing Coulson and Daisy having a moment to just decompress the weirdness of all this was also a great scene. And it's so refreshing to see these two just teaming up and kicking butt together. And if this is a last hurrah, hopefully there will be plenty more moments like that along the way with those two. And finally, before I get into the ending, Simmons, she's like a changed woman, and you can see the pain and determination in her face. She knows that she and Fitz can't be together for now, because, I mean, there's a reason that they can't be together, so she just has to power through that. And she doesn't blink when it comes time to torture and fry a Chronicom for information. I mean, we've seen her deal with a lot over the years, but the lead up to this season has clearly changed her. Now, as for the ending of the episode, which I've been hyping up this whole video, but the episode ends with a fan favorite team member looking a bit feral, because last season ended with Agent May on the verge of death. And at first, when I was watching that scene in the season finale, I thought that maybe she would have actually died. But no, we're all good. She's alive. But not in the way we kind of wish she would have been. Because Simmons used her new tech upgrades to save her. But as Enoch tries to take care of her for recovery, May wakes up and, well, let's just say she goes a little rogue. Because we see her hiding in the ceiling. And it begs the question of just how much lingering damage May might be suffering from her clash at the end of last season with Izel. Because I'm not sure if she's possessed or something, or like, I don't know, but she looks not too good. She needs a little help, but she also looks kind of evil, so I think it would be really interesting if maybe she turned into the main villain of this season. Because as of right now, we don't really know the main villain of the season yet. Like, sure, you've got the Chronicoms, and you've got Hydra, but Hydra is kind of like an ally in the season, and then, yeah, they're trying to stop the Chronicoms. But what if May became the main villain of the season? That would really balance out with last season's having Sarge and that alternate version of Coulson be evil, and then have this season have May be evil. And then I think that would just be a really nice way to end off the series, having the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. having to fight one of their own and sacrifice everything. And then, hopefully it would all end with a happy ending for everybody. And hopefully another thing that I really want to see in this season is confirmation and, like, more of a tie to the MCU. Because, like, we know that it's kind of connected to the MCU, or at least it was at the start, because obviously Coulson and the whole idea of S.H.I.E.L.D. came from the MCU, and this was an MCU spin-off show. But lately, we're not really sure if it's completely canon, and I just hope that we get some more official ties in this season, and the actors have said that there will be that, but I don't know how big of it we'll get. Like, maybe we'll have something to do with the snap/blip from Endgame and Infinity War. But I'm just excited to see how this will tie into the greater MCU, and if it has any bigger impact. Like, if this turns into a thing where it's like, you have to watch this to know what's going on in the MCU. I think that would be a great thing to happen, and I really hope that is something that happens here. But honestly, I say this was a great season premiere. It's the beginning of the end, but next week's episode looks even crazier because we got more aliens, more Chronicoms, and Deke is faced with a choice because he pulls a gun on Freddy, and he has to make the choice. Does he kill Freddy or does he not? Because if he kills him, then Hydra will never be created, but then also S.H.I.E.L.D. will never be created. But if he doesn't kill him, then, Hydra will be created and everything will go good. So he has to make a tough decision there, and we'll have to see what decision he makes. I just hope it's the right one. But anyways, guys, what did you think about this episode? Please let me know all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.